Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. Let's take a minute and catch up. A number of things have been happening, and I just haven't gotten around to making any videos. I've been working on the layout, but not on anything I could particularly make a decent video about. I'm trying to finish up adding the additional ties to the tubular track, do a little ballasting, do a little greenery along the way, a little bit of painting, and I could probably review that, but everything in here is such a mess because in order to work on the layout, I had to move so much stuff. It all started because I wanted to work on the middle of the layout. I realized there was a bunch I needed to do before I could get to that. So it's kind of snowballed from there. In order to work on the part that I want to work on, I have to get kind of through the entire left side of the layout. I've been doing a little painting of the rocks, a little bit of grass work, a little bit of scenicing. It's moving quite slow. But slow or not, at least I'm making some sort of progress. A little bit ago was the Greenberg Train Show in Edison, New Jersey. Fortunately, this time the event in the other hall was canceled, so parking was not a problem. I always see a lot of people I know at this show, but this time was bordering on ridiculous. I feel like everybody was there. I spent so much time talking, I barely got out of the center aisle. I made my way most of the way down, stopped at a couple of tables. I stopped at Al Tuttle's table, I stopped at my buddy Jim Reed's table, and I stopped at Grzybowski's, and that's it. I didn't see anything else. So I only took about 6 pictures. I mean, I'll show them to you. I'll put them right there. So I didn't look at that much, but I still managed to spend some money. I guess I looked at a couple other tables. I can't remember which ones, but I did end up coming home with that car. A good post-war autoloader with 4 cars. Is it in great condition? No, it's not. I believe the seller said that they had been in the basement and gotten all dirty and corroded, and he had cleaned the stuff up to the best of his ability and brought them to the show. So I paid $30 for that. I think 30 or 35. I don't recall. I was pretty content with that purchase. I kind of have a desire to pick up a bunch of those autoloaders, but again, kind of like my Baby Ruth cars, only when they're inexpensive. I don't really feel the need to spend any good money on them. So when I can find an autoloader with cars for $30, $35, $40, I think that's fantastic. So now I think I have 2 with cars and the one that I've had since I was a kid with no cars. So that's pretty cool. I probably would have been okay with just that purchase, but I was talking to Art from Art's Model Trains, and there was an engine that he was looking at over at Grzybowski's. So we went over to look at it, and it was a Jersey Central engine. And I said to him, look, if you don't buy that, I'm gonna buy it. So of course he bought it. Maybe someday I'll buy it from him. But sitting next to that one was this right here. A Great Northern GP 38, maybe? Great Northern. Why would I pick up a Great Northern engine? Well, like many things that I do, it's kind of determined by budget. That is a Lionel engine, TMCC, and Odyssey. I couldn't pass up an engine that looked like it was in good condition with cruise control for $200. There was no box. It's from 2013, I believe. So it's not new, but for $200 with cruise and all that stuff, I couldn't pass it up. The initial thought was swap the shell, paint the shell, something like that. But the paint scheme's kind of really growing on me, so I don't know. For the time being, I'm going to run it as it is and enjoy running it. I don't think swapping any of the shells from any of the other GPs that I have onto that one would be a simple task. So I don't know that I'd bother. I have a K-Line Jersey Central and a K-Line Reading engine. The Jersey Central is TMCC without cruise, and the writing is conventional. I could, disassemble this engine completely apart and rebuild it into one of those other engines if the shell doesn't just swap over. I keep coming up with these ideas about taking this engine and taking it apart and taking the parts and using them to make this other engine do this thing, and I don't know that I'll ever do it. The problem is the allure of shopping, It's fun to buy a new engine. It's exciting, it's interesting, it's always great to get something new. But it seems to be a broken record here. I need to work on what I've got instead of adding to the clutter. But anyway, for $200, either way, I couldn't pass it up. So thank you to Joe at Grzybowski's for a fantastic deal on what is turning out to be a fantastic engine. I don't have it in my hand at the moment, but he also gave me a little 3D printed Grzybowski's train store sign. I've got to figure out if I can maybe put that on a building. I've got it leaning against my engine house at the moment. The autoloader isn't perfect, but I think it looks pretty darn good, and it's going to look good either on a shelf or being pulled with the other ones that I have. Even though I'm not really a great Northern fan, it is a really, really good looking engine. The colors are really growing on me. Kind of be a shame, I'm thinking, to paint over that and give it the late era Pensy bland coloring. So I don't know. For the time being, just going to run it as it is. Still a little dusty. I need to clean it off, open it up, and check out the inside. I've gotten out of the habit of doing that when I buy something, and I really need to get back into that habit of testing it, seeing if it works, and then taking it apart and seeing if everything inside is good, and then making sure everything is lubed and working properly before I end up using it too much. So that was a busy day at that Greenberg show in Edison, and from there we went over to Captain Andy's house and had a great time. Just a couple days ago, I was in upstate New York. I went up to Tupper Lake to see the trolls in the park there. And very interesting, but it has nothing to do with this. Other than on the way back, coming down 87, I decided I needed to find a train store. So I stopped at Adirondack Train and Hobby in Saratoga Springs. And it was such a cool little shop. It's a pool supply store and a train and hobby store. So they got their pool supplies, they have Lionel stuff, they had some N and HO stuff. And it was just one of those cool multi-purpose stores. It's always great to stop in a place like that. I didn't buy anything crazy. There were a couple things there that I probably could have spent money on, but I wasn't really there to shop other than just kind of to cruise through and check it out. I did pick up some scenery supplies because I've got a lot of ground to cover here. So I picked up some Woodland Scenics ground cover, a couple different colors. But very nice people, very cool store. If you need pool supplies or some remote control cars or some Lionel stuff, maybe check them out. That's Adirondack Train and Hobby in Saratoga Springs, New York. I did get a few pictures there and a little bit of video, so we'll check that out, and maybe you'll see something that you need to call them up and order. As far as the layout's concerned, I don't have anything finished to show you, but I guess I might as well show you what it is I've been working on. You might notice that corner is looking a little bare. I took out the big mountain that sits in that corner so that I could get to the track behind it, because I needed to secure the track down since I had picked it all up when I rewired the layout. I also needed to put the ties underneath the track as well as do a basic ballasting. That's all going to be behind the mountain, so I'm really not going to see it, but I figured I needed to do at least a basic scenicking in there. As we move left from there, I'm again just trying to get the back of the layout to a point that I'm happy with it, so that if I never do anything else to it, I'd be okay. When I started this layout, I was going to fully scenic everything. Inside the tunnels, around the back, everything was going to be scenic. So that especially if you put a camera on the train and ran it around the layout, it would look realistic. I have learned a few things about myself and about the layout building process, and I'm just not going to do that. I just don't have that kind of time or energy really at this point. So if you're only going to see 6 inches into a tunnel, that's as much as I'm going to do. I do have a tunnel over here all the way on the left corner that when it's done, you'll probably be able to see completely through it. So that one I want to do the inside of. But that's something I can work on later because it's on the outside of the layout. I'm really trying to get to the back of the layout that's behind everything so that I can work on the stuff that's a little more in front. After these tasks are done on this part of the layout, then maybe I can finally really secure the upper loop and wire it properly. Because at the moment, it only has one drop on it. And that's probably right about the middle of that mountain there. And that's it. So I really need to go around that loop, secure the track, put a bunch of drops in so that I have good continuity up there, make some progress towards finishing some stuff on the layout. I'm trying to get some of this rock work painted and get some greenery in there. Really, I want kind of almost everything green and covered with growth and bushes and all sorts of stuff, and only have, you know, smaller sections of rock poking through. That's not necessarily going to make sense for a lot of the places, but that's kind of the idea I'm working towards. From this angle, you might be able to see that I'm trying to add more greenery. I got a couple of small trees stuffed in there. Got greenery kind of stuck to the mountainside and filling the crevices and things like that. Trying to give it some depth and texture. And all this isn't necessarily intended to be realistic as much as just kind of a interpretation of realistic. I'm free in that way to kind of just do whatever the heck I want with it. It is nice to see some green on a different part of the layout other than the other side. Can't wait to bring it through a little bit further. Maybe even get to the stream before too long. That would be fantastic. Finishing up the station here, that platform, that would be fantastic. And then that big mountain, so many decisions to make. This is the section that got me working on the layout again. I got that engine house from Dell Hudson, and I've been trying to figure out where to put it. And I think it's going to work pretty good right there. So I got my cooling tower, my water tower out, and tried to start figuring out where things might go. I actually have a switch over here. That's one of the Menards switches that I just couldn't put on my layout because I just couldn't get it to work well enough. But it would work for a siding, and I may or may not run that line back around the mountain there to give me some more storage space. That will wait until I am working on this whole side of the layout, which might be a while. Other than that, I don't think there's much going on in here. I've been doing some work in the other part of the garage, trying to clean that up so I can get tools and tool storage straightened out, have more workspace, and maybe get some of the overflow from this room into that room so that I have more room to work and move around in here. There are a couple of projects scenery-wise that I want to work on that might make a good video. So maybe I'll do something like that, especially if I get around to doing the little stream. I'd want to make a video on that just because I think it will be an interesting project. I could do something on the way I'm scenicking and painting the layout, but I just don't know that it would be interesting. But maybe it would be. I don't know. I mean, I have a technique, whether it's good or not, it seems to work for me, so maybe I should show that. I don't know if I have or not in the past. There's also a lot of engine projects and passenger car projects and all sorts of things I would like to work on. Hopefully I can get my brain back into video production mode and get some more stuff done. But I can't promise anything. I'm going to try though. I think I just need to stop sleeping. Well, I mean, I don't sleep well anyway, so I should just give up and just stay out here working on the layout, working on the trains until I pass out 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every day. At least I'd get more done. Maybe I wouldn't. So even if I don't get a video out every week, I am trying, and I'll get another one out to you as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.